MelodyMatrix is an app to look at music. It connects through MIDI with your music instruments, and when playing those music instruments, all the MIDI events are captured. You can store them in a file, you can replay that file, but most importantly, you can look at your music. You can look at it with different kind of viewers, like for instance a piano viewer. If we start that recording that we created earlier, you see some effects. You can change the effects, you can change the viewer. So those are different viewers that are included in the application. You also have some chart views which show you which notes are being played. And these views are actually a bit of a showcase of what can be done with JavaFX to build user interfaces. The sources of the viewers in MelodyMatrix are shared in a public repository on GitHub. This is the repository, which is a Java Kotlin project, which you can open in IntelliJ and can run it standalone. So you don't need the full MelodyMatrix application to run these viewers. This project contains a simulator which generates MIDI events, so you can use it to experiment with the viewer, see how it works, or even create your own one. This is the sources of that project on GitHub opened in IntelliJ. As you can see, it is a Gradle project, a traditional Gradle project with the sources here, and a Kotlin application which contains a test launcher. As you can see, it has some buttons to play notes or simulate other MIDI events, like changing the instrument. And then you have buttons to open all the views which are included in the sources of this project. If you would create your own one and you want to add it to this project, then it would become a new button here so that it is also easy to test. Let's, for instance, look at the MIDI viewer. This view shows which MIDI events are being received by the application. Now, if we play the notes of 1 octave, then you see that we have these events bubbling into the application, and we can show the MIDI data, which is just raw bytes. And then what happens? If we stop this again and we select another instrument, then you see that we changed to instrument 5, and this was triggered by this MIDI data. In the same way, we can test the piano view. You see that we can here change some of the layout and then set the instrument. This has no effect on the piano, but we can play the octave, and then you see what happens. You can change the speed, you can change which notes are being played, all inside this application. So you don't need an instrument, you don't need a MIDI connection. Everything is in here in this little application, this test application, to test views, create your own view, or modify the existing ones. If you look into the sources of this project, then you see that we have a stage package, and each view has its own package in here. Let's open, for instance, the piano stage. As you can see, it's an FXGL application, a game application actually, and it has all the settings in here to generate the piano view using different components. So each of these views can be as complex as needed. Like for instance, the scale stage is just one class. That's all we need for this view. So depending on the complexity of a view and the functionality you want to include in it, it can be created inside its own package. If you're interested in creating your own view for MelodyMatrix, or see how the current ones work and how they are programmed, then take a look at the GitHub repository. Just get the full sources and let it run with the test application and see what you can build yourself.